Welcome to the podcast by Kilde. We are a private credit platform based out of Singapore and licensed in Singapore. I'm Nay, I'm head of marketing in Kilde. We have here Tarmo, who is the CEO of Iute Credit. Iute is one of the largest borrowers and one of the most important borrowers we have on the Kilde platform. How are you doing, Tarmo?
Good. I think you must have evening. We are having noon here. Nice to meet you, Nate.
It's such a time difference. Thanks for joining the call, Tarmo. So, do you mind giving a little bit of introduction about yourself, your journey to becoming the CEO of the company, and then as well as background about the company?
Okay, so company is Iute Group, no longer credit but group, because we are a banking group. We are slowly converting ourselves into the bank, and the journey started 16 years ago. I am co-founder of the company. We started in a small ex-Soviet country called Moldova. After that, we expanded into Albania, then Macedonia, then Bulgaria. We also tried business in Bosnia and Kosovo. There we had setbacks because the whole business is about digitalization. Digitalization of the old paper-based value streams, where we don't want to use any paper. Actually, the starting point why not to use any paper was not the efficiency. It was just that because I am sitting here in Tallinn, you are, I suppose, somewhere in Singapore. And now imagine that you send from Singapore money to somebody in Tallinn. I think you will have trust issues. Just like I have trust issues when I send money over to Moldova or Albania, because they are quite far from me. The only way how I can cover the distance is by deploying technology and making every single step in the money movement, in how we originate credit, how the loans is being repaid, if we digitalize every single step. And in countries where we can do it, we have done it, and that's how we run Iute Group. We've been doing it for past 16 years, have been profitable all the time, and are quite busy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful for me to learn more about Iute Group. We'll jump a little bit into the company overview and the industry at large. Just trying to understand the problem that your company solves. Can you explain a little bit more in detail about it? And then also on how you try to stand out in the market amongst your competition?
Well, now there are three value streams that we operate and three different problems that we have solved. The value stream, you can visualize value stream like a conveyor belt in any factory which is producing anything specific. So you can have a conveyor belt for cars, you can have a conveyor belt for some robots or drones, and you can have a conveyor belts for, I don't know, clothing. So we have the same, we have three value streams. One is called loans, the second is called wallet or processing payments, and third is called insurance intermediation. Problems that we solve with loans, it's all about liquidity, but in our countries it's also about quick liquidity and liquidity which is tied to your purchases. You buy a refrigerator and you can buy it with Iute credit from the shop, straight from the shop. So that's pretty standard. I think everybody knows what it is. We just did it in our countries in a digitalized manner with minimum human involvement. Actually, now we are switching to next generation where there is no human involvement at all. And it's all about speed, comfort, and not the need to bring any papers. And it's also about efficiency, where the question is, what is the optimum use of data which is available there, based on which we can make credit decisions? Because that value stream makes sense only if customers repay us more money than we give to them. So that about loans. Now, as to the wallet, it actually started from the loans when we discovered that we cannot pay out loans in our countries because the banks are closed. The banks work from 9 to 5. Banks make terrible amount of errors when they process repayments. Imagine you have in a country X like Moldova, we have 70,000 customers, and they bring money to the bank branches and they make repayments, and then the tellers make errors because with some reference number or I don't know what. And it's a big mess. Also with loan payouts, if the branch is closed, you can't get your money. We switched to post offices. We learned that post offices ran out of money because nobody was prepared for the amount of credit that we were giving out. So customer goes to post office, they say, sorry, we cannot give you, we ran out of cash, come tomorrow. That's a no-go. So we started processing payments. It started initially very simple as our own cash-out ATMs. which don't need any Visa MasterCard. We also, in one country, tried and still continue issuing Visa and MasterCard as one alternative. But then we switched over to processing the full segment of payments. I mean, because we have already our own app, we are able to onboard customers, identify customers, authenticate customers, and also we are able to take customer authorizations for transactions. So we can take an authorization to pay the utility bill. So we expanded the payment processing business, and in general, we measure the success there by the take rate, the amount of fees that we charge for the volume of money that we process, either we process as cash or as payment account to account. So this has expanded, and well, in different countries we are in different development phase because it's very legal. You need to have license or licenses, and that service competes directly with banks. So that's the second value stream, wallet. And then there is a third, which is insurance intermediation, which essentially we monetize our app. We have access to customers, we have interaction with customers, and while they are making their purchases or while they are taking their credit, their loan, they may also want to take an insurance. To very simple example is they want to insure the good that they bought, the refrigerator, or maybe they want to insure the loan repayments, their employment, etc., etc. So, and as of now, in the big picture, long story short, out of the total group revenues, about 90% is what we make from loans, and about 10% is that we make from processing the payments, the wallet, and insurance intermediation. But then again, we also bought one bank in Moldova, and that bank possibly could set the sample for every other countries to follow, because bank essentially is an entity which combines all this. It processes money, it gives credit, and theoretically it can also intermediate insurance. The issue with banks, of course, is that they are huge legacies, and we are right now seeing which moves faster. Does the non-bank business move faster and become a bank, or we can move the bank faster to become a fintech bank?
It's actually quite interesting to see how your ambitions are playing out to be in the markets that you operate in. So in terms of the three value streams that you spoke of, what are some of the key significant trends that we're seeing right now in your region as well as globally?
Okay, again, I tried to put it into, I have three answers, 3 points. First, which is maybe not so exciting for us, is the upcoming wave of regulations. I mean, there is reaction and also to a certain extent overreaction by politicians and by regulators, especially if it goes to regulating the payday lending. And unfortunately, sometimes people think that we also are in the payday business, or I don't know, kind of quick, irresponsible lending business. That's not our thing. But anyway, regulations are coming. Regulations on the cost of the loans, even the issuing times of the loans. Like in Albania, there is new regulation. You can't issue loans during from 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. So, for instance, guys who want to buy something from, I don't know, Temu or anything from China or some global web platform, I mean, late night purchases credited by Iute are out of question in Albania. So these kind of things are coming. Some of them are good because they clean the market and also help us to consolidate our position. Some are not so good, so we have to adapt. So that's one thing which is happening to us, one big mega trend. The second trend is use of artificial intelligence and generally database decision making everywhere. Decision making, whether you are real now or not, whether Tarmo here is real or maybe it's some kind of fake guy talking to you. Starting from this and moving over to who to give the credit, what data is strong, what data is soft, what is reliable, what is not so reliable, what weights we put, and where do we get the better results out of it if we analyze the history of repayments. So that's the second big thing, and this I actually like very much. I mean, being part of it and putting team to work to resolve it. And the third trend is macroeconomic. It's both monetary and fiscal. It's on the one hand government overspending and irresponsible money print and the inflation which results, but also the cost of capital for us. Where for sure, because we see that the microfinance and banks are becoming more and more in our markets competing with each other, and the honeymoon time is over, then the cost of capital becomes very relevant to a business like us, because we are competing with banks, and it makes major difference if the input cost of a dollar is, let's say, 10% per year, or 12%, or 8%. So these three big trends, which I see: one, upcoming regulation, where we cope, some positives, but not everything is positive. Second, data-based decision-making, use of artificial intelligence, availability of quality data. And number three is, okay, if you want keyword, cost of capital.
Cost of capital. Understood. Understood. So would you say these are also the three biggest challenges that your company is facing right now at this moment, or is there something else?
If it was my priority list, then this is my three priorities.
What are your top growth priorities for the company for the next few years as the CEO and co-founder?
One is to embed the value stream more and make them more supporting each other, supportive of each other. So to create more internal synergies. If I give you an example, in Moldova, we have a bank and credit institution, but nevertheless, for our credit customers to open up an account in the bank, it sometimes is a bit too big hassle for them and takes too many minutes. So could be faster and easier. So one is the synergies. And number two, where I see opportunity, we still haven't covered all our Balkan people. We are in the Balkan Peninsula, which is, let's say, one geographic region in Europe, which is interconnected with the Danube River, or Donau, depending on what nation calls it. So that's our region. And in our region, there are local people, but also local people who have emigrated into the European Union. So if you follow the airports in Tirana or in Chisinau or in Bucharest, and you see where most of the departing flights are, you see where the people have moved. And we want to move our customers following their language. I think Romanians very much like if we talk to them in Romanian, even if they reside in UK, for instance. So this is the second, let's say, generous aspiration that we envision. We have 56 million people who speak our language, and some of them live in their country of birth, some have expatriated, but we see all of them as our target customer.